Wonderful day, I would say. I mean, it's enthralling to be on this campus, driving through the roads of Ghaziabad, known for the potholes. When you come to this institution and this campus, it's lovely, I would say. And on top of it, I see some really promising stories in making. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to the kids who've made to Institute of Management Studies Ghaziabad this year. And let me tell you, you've done a great job. You've done a great job, and I want all of you to stand up. I want you all to stand up and give a standing round of ovation to this academy which is going to make our country strong someday. And I can show you, this is a wonderful gathering, I say, wonderful gathering. It's a wonderful gathering. Just remember the marathons which you've seen in your life. When a marathon starts, there is a starting line. There is a starting line, and on that starting line you'll find thousands of people standing, waiting for the chance. And as the whistle blows, the people start moving ahead, and with the passage of the time, you'll see the crowd thinning. Those thousands becoming hundreds, and then those hundreds becoming tens, and those tens becoming a few. And at the end of the marathon, ladies and gentlemen, there is the one. There is that one. Look around in your life. You might have not run a marathon, but in your lives, you've run many journeys, ladies and gentlemen. Remember many years ago when you were coming to your school, you were holding the hands of your parents. And your parents slowly left your hand. You had tears in your eyes. You were looking back to your parents, but your feet were moving hesitantly towards your school. You entered that school. You started out on the journey. Thousands started out on the journey that day. Thousands. Out of those thousands, the journey started thinning out. They became hundreds. Then they became tens, and then they became few, and at the end of it, ladies and gentlemen, you'll remember there was that one person who made the imprint, who made the impact, and who's left indelible mark in your memories. Remember that person. You know, life is queer. It will not let you know when you're starting a journey. It will not let you know, it will only give you an indication. So that when you complete your journey, you look back and you found I was on a journey. And you at that time will not have the moment, you will not have the time to decide whether you are the one or not, because you've lost the time. But life gives indication. And it's giving you indication right now. You're starting out on another journey today. And see, what a journey. Thousands in this country are starting out a journey this week. Thousands are starting out on a journey. And very soon out of those thousands will be left hundreds, the tens, the few, and then the one will make it a journey of the lifetime. The question is, are you going to be the one? Are you going to be the one? A more important question is, how are you going to be the one? What's that it takes to be the one? What does it take? What does it take to be the one out of the crowd of lakhs and thousands of the people surrounding you in the competition which has come through? What is that? You need to know, because you are starting the journey today. And this is the longest journey of your life. It's not going to end with your MBA degree. No. It will end so far as you're breathing. And at the end of a journey, when you look back, you remember this day. It started out of this. But whether you were the one or not, that's the question. So what is that makes you the one, ladies and gentlemen? What is that makes you the one? Well, What I feel is the people who do not make it, who are not the one, who are the commons, who are the mutocrats, who do not become exceptional, who don't do things out of average. Those are the people who don't know one thing. Do you know what is that? I was discussing this with the director madam a couple of minutes ago. What's that? They don't know what's their purpose on this earth. That's it. They don't know why they've come on the earth. They don't know what's their calling on the earth, and they don't know what their life's work is going to be all these years of their existence. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm reminded of a policeman. You might have met that policeman on the roads. You're walking on a road and you find a policeman standing and you see a crime happening right in front of him, a rape or a murder, and you run to that person and say, taking an action, and he says, that's not my police area. Why? Do you know why he says so? He says so because that's not his calling. It was someone in his life who told him that being a policeman will bring you money, name and fame, and he became a policeman. But curbing the crime from the face of the earth was never his calling. It was never his calling. A month ago, I went to a government hospital. There were 50 doctors sitting on strike, and there was a 8-year-old girl writhing in pain in front of them, and her relatives were walking up to her, walking up to those doctors and requesting to attend to that lady, to that young girl. I could not stop myself. I went out to that doctor and I said, why are you not treating him? Do you know what they said? They said, sir, you've been to the hospital once a while. We treat these type of people day in and day out. Shall not die. How can a doctor be so insensitive? How can he be so insensitive? Unless he doesn't know his calling. It was someone in his family or in the society who told him, be a doctor. You'll have the money, you'll have the status. And he became a doctor. But he didn't know what his heart beats for. He doesn't know his calling. He's not having the integrity. Fyodor Dostoevsky, ladies and gentlemen, once said, the greatest mysteries of the human life is not to be alive. It's about to find out something to live for. And as one of my favorite people has said, if you cannot stand for something, you'll fall for everything. The question is, have you found out that thing for which you are going to stand up in your life? That's the question. That's the first step towards being the one. The second step is, once you find out what's that you're going to be doing in your life, what your life's calling, the second step is going about it fearlessly and boldly. Willing to take risk. Allowing yourself to make mistakes. Allowing yourself to make failures, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you one thing, once you start in the direction of what you think is your life's calling, one thing is going to happen to you for certainty. Do you know what's that? That's failure. Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, you'll fail on your way to a dream. Now you will ask me, sir, I'll fail on my way to dream. But why? Son, you will fail because you'll make mistakes. Why will you make mistakes? Because you're not perfect. But I can work hard and I can become perfect. But you're not. Why? Because nobody's perfect. But why is nobody perfect, sir? But nobody's perfect because when you reach the level which you think was a level of perfection, you start realizing that I still have some skills, some talents, some knowledge to gain in my life. And then you move on to the next level and then you realize, my God, I still have something to gain in my life. You never become perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Perfection is only an illusion. It's only a moving target. All that you can do is always better your best. So you'll always make mistakes. But if I keep making mistakes, sir, what's the fun in working hard? Well, you've got to realize Everybody makes mistakes and everybody fails. You heard of Michael Jordan?
Yes.
That man in his own interview says that he has lost 9,000 games in his sporting life. Lost 300 matches in his life. And he goes on to say that I was given 26 opportunities to take the winning shot. And I failed. What an embarrassment. Think about it. Michael Jordan being given the winning shot, he takes the shot and fails. Thomas Alva Edison, he made the bulb 10,000 times before he came out with the correct version. 10,000 times. You count 10,000 and the session is over. 10,000 times. You know J.K. Rowling, who created Harry Potter?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That lady, she was divorced. She was bankrupt. Personally, she says I was a devastating failure when I wrote my first book. And then what happened? She gave the book for publishing. 12 publishers. Again and again, over and over again, refused to publish it. A failure. And then somebody took up the book and said, I'm going to publish, and the rest is history. So the first thing you got to realize is, everybody makes mistakes, and everybody fails. The people who are doing it today have made their share of mistakes. So you will make mistakes. And the second thing is, making mistakes is okay. Why? Because human beings make mistakes. Mistakes do not make human beings. So when you are making a mistake, it's not you. It's not you. Don't take it personally. No, no. When you're making a mistake, when you're failing, it's not you. It happens with everybody. All that you got to do is take a lesson, understand why you're making a mistake, why you're failing. There must be something which you're not knowing. Get to know it. Move ahead in life. That's what you do with your mistakes and failures. So you're not making a mistake. Everybody's making a mistake. And that takes us to the next level. And that is, you must ask. When you make a mistake, you must ask. And you must knock. When I was a kid, Madam Director and others must be recollecting, when we were kids, our school would ask us to collect fund in the name of Helpage India. So I would take the certificate and I would go to my neighbors. I would knock on the door and they would not open the door. And they would peep from the window. Who's this? And they would know that's me coming for the Helpage India. They would see the Helpage India monogram on my chest. And they would not open. I was embarrassed. I went on to the next door. Knocked. Nobody would open. They would see from the window, didn't open. Second window, third window, fourth window. I used to knock, nobody used to open. And then I used to go weeping back home, Mom, nobody's giving the money. My school would be scolding me. So she would shell out 50 rupees. And ring up a couple of her friends. And I would collect around 200, 300 rupees in those times, it was a big amount, and go to the school, submit, get the certificate. But there was a boy, I forget his name, but he was some Walia. This boy would always collect more than 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. I thought his parents were rich. So I went out to him one day and said, Walia, is that your mom giving you money? He said, no man, I collect the money. I said, don't tell me. You can't collect money like that. Nobody gives money like that. He says, no. People give money. Come with me, I'll show you. And the next attempt, he took me with him. And you know what he did? He went onto the first door. He knocked the door. Nobody opened. He knocked it twice. Somebody looked from behind the window. I said, it's time to go, man. He said, no, it's time to stick, man. He knocked again, nobody opened. He knocked again, nobody opened. He knocked again, nobody opened. He knocked again, and somebody opened. What do you want? And while I was patient, I just want 5 rupees for the Helpage India. And the person would slam the door in the face. Out of every 10 doors, he would get each door opened and would get donation from not more than 2 doors. But he would continue that for the rest of the 15 days. And he would collect the money which I was not able to do. So you have to knock at the door and keep knocking. Scripture says, ask and you shall get it. Seek and you shall find it. And knock at the door and the my doors shall be opened unto you. The doors do get open, ladies and gentlemen. Doors do get open. So whenever you are doing anything, give your 100%. Except when you are donating blood. Right? And that takes us to the third point. I know it takes courage to stand up and speak. But I also know that it takes courage to sit down and listen. So here is the third point. You know what you're supposed to be doing in your life. You're going about it fearlessly. You're going about it boldly, making mistakes, failing and still getting up, bruising your knees, getting up. But then you'll realize something. You'll realize that the world, the life is hard. Life is hard. It's not easy. It's hard. Easy is not an option here. If somebody comes up to you and say, it's easy, I do not agree with it. It's not easy. I was watching a movie starring Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa. Many of you might have seen that movie. I recollect that movie. Rocky, one of the greatest boxers of all time, that movie is in a very intimate scene talking to his son. He says to his son is down and out, and he says to his son, if I can recollect it correctly, he said, life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. World is a very nasty and a mean place to live in. You, me, or nobody can hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and still move forward. It's about how much you can take and still move forward. It's about how you win at the end in the face of the adversity, ladies and gentlemen, that comes.